Mr. City Attorney, do you have anything to report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Nothing to report out of closed session.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayala.
Here.
Councilmember Rhodes.
Here.
Councilmember Litzter.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Judge.
Here.
Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here. Mr. Al Brown, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Mr. Brown. Are there any items for agenda review?
Madam Mayor, there was a typo on the meeting minutes on consent number 1, for the meeting minutes of January 27th. Staff has already noted that typo and will make a change for the record. You were noted as Mayor Pro Tem at the adjournment of that meeting, and you were noted actually to be mayor by then. So that edit will be made.
All right, thank you.
I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived.
Second.
Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. If any member of the City Council may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, we can go on.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, first on the agenda is item 1D1, presentation of certificates of appreciation to outgoing Youth Employment Service Advisory Board members, and Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. This evening, we are recognizing 3 outstanding, outgoing Youth Employment Service Advisory Board members. These individuals have contributed their time and effort to serve on the advisory board to the City Council on all matters related to youth employment. I request that those individuals present this evening come forward as I call your name. Rita Longo, outgoing Simi Valley Unified School District Representative. Rika Tignack, outgoing Youth Representative, and Nicole Kim, outgoing Youth Council Representative. During the past year, the YES Advisory Board accomplished the following: led interview skills workshops to more than 1,400 high school students, successfully hosted the 37th Annual YES Job and Career Fair in partnership with the Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce and Simi Valley Public Library, co-hosted multiple YES workshops, including a financial literacy workshop in partnership with JP Morgan Chase, and an Alternatives to University workshop in partnership with the Simi Institute for Careers and Education. Additionally, the board hosted the city's annual volunteer fair in November and mini volunteer fair last summer. I would like to thank each of them for their contributions. It has been a privilege working with them.
Thank you very much, and thank you for everything you've done, Rika. We appreciate it.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D2, presentation of certificates of appreciation to outgoing Youth Council members, and Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler is also presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. This evening, we are recognizing 15 outstanding outgoing Youth Council members. These individuals have contributed their time and exemplary service on the advisory board to the City Council on youth-related matters. I'm excited to announce that our graduating seniors have plans to attend the following colleges this fall: Berkeley, USC, and Yale. The rest will be continuing on at their middle and high schools, poised to be remarkable student leaders this coming year. I request that those individuals present this evening come forward as I call your name. Pratika Bijith, Chloe Jury, Abhishek Kambe, Kirtan Iju, Tanvi Iju, Lakshmi Julakanti, Hannah Khalil, Nicole Kim, James Laquang, Advaith Nair, Natalie Wynn, Arjun Prabhuram, Kalissa Rowe, Michelle Sebastian, Kartik Vishnapatla. During this past year, the Youth Council completed the following. Held the first youth summit since 2020, which invited 150 middle and high school students to identify and discuss issues facing youth in our community and share ideas and solutions with community leaders. Reviewed and organized the printing of teen crisis resource numbers on the back of all Simi Valley Unified School District middle and high school identification cards issued for the 2024-25 school year. Successfully hosted the first Youth Impact Forum in partnership with the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute, which featured a keynote speaker and workshops on preventing youth substance use. Co-hosted multiple awareness events with the Simi Valley Public Library, including Teen Wellness Night, attended by more than 300 community members. Additionally, Youth Council members promoted the program and distributed resources at many local events, including the Street Fair and City Expo, the city's annual YES Volunteer Fair, YES Job and Career Fair, the Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District's annual Heritage Halloween event, and the MetroLink Holiday Train. They also held phenomenal fundraising events to help cover costs of all of the activities they coordinate. One such event was their annual talent show, newly expanded to 2 nights with an almost sold-out crowd, spectacular performances, and generous sponsors. The event was an overwhelming success. Each of these members brought unique skill sets that bolstered the success of the Youth Council program. I would like to thank all of them for their contributions to the community, and I wish them the best of all things during the years to come. It has been a true honor to work with each of them.
You all do such a wonderful job on our youth council. I think we're the envy of all the cities in the county. And I'm very proud to hear of all the things that you guys have accomplished. I've gone to a couple of them, and I enjoy it. And I just look forward to continuing to have you do all the good things you do. And I'm sure we have a council member or two that wants to say something. I'm looking at her.
You guys are amazing. No, it is true. Actually, thank you for all you've done. The reality is that I know how much work you put into it, and I know that it's so hard not to have everyone continue and keep going on it. And I just want to say thank you. You have just made such a difference, and we really do appreciate you. And I know Ryan's going to miss you big time, but I'm.
And we look forward to seeing what you do in the world. So thank you all very much.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D3, presentation of certificates of appreciation to outgoing Simi Valley Arts Commission members, and Deputy Community Services Director Anna Medina is here to present this item.
This should be easier. I only have 2.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. This evening, we are honoring 2 exceptional outgoing members of the Simi Valley Arts Commission. These dedicated individuals have generously contributed their time and expertise by serving on the advisory board to the City Council, helping to guide decisions on arts and culture in Simi Valley. During their term, they played a vital role in overseeing both the operating and capital budgets of the Cultural Arts Center. As I call your name, please come forward to be recognized. Becky Savell. Unfortunately, Ms. Savell was unable to be here tonight. Ms. Savell served on the Arts Commission for 6 years. Burton Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein has served on the Arts Commission for 4 years. These individuals are to be commended for their dedication to the arts and their exceptional community service. During their tenure on the Arts Commission, Ms. Savell and Mr. Weinstein played a vital role in creating the Commission's new bylaws and setting key priorities. including spearheading the development of a master cultural plan. Their thoughtful participation has been an example of excellence in arts leadership and have left an indelible mark on the Simi Valley Arts Commission. I would like to thank them for their contributions, and it has been an honor working with them.
Thank you for all of you do for our Cultural Arts Center and our commission. That's such an important part of our community here, and I really want to personally thank you for everything you do. And thank you, and hope you'll come back later and help on something else. Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 2, public statements on appointments, special presentations, and informational reports. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card is submitted to speak for this public statement, item 2, for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. For the record, persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence. Madam Mayor, we have no speakers for this item. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A1, appointment of Simi Valley Arts Commissioners, and Deputy Community Services Director Anna Medina is presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The Arts Commission is responsible for promoting greater public participation in and access to arts and culture, exploring alternative sources of arts and culture funding, planning arts programs and events, developing a master cultural plan, applying for grants, reviewing the annual financial and operational plans for the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center, and reinforcing the arts as a vital and necessary component of life for all members of the community. Membership on the Arts Commission is comprised of 8 members, including 2 City Council members, 5 City Council appointed public members, and 1 Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center Foundation Board of Director. All public members serve staggered 2-year terms of office. Arts Commission members may serve 2 consecutive terms and may serve additional terms provided 12 months have lapsed between appointments beyond 2 consecutive terms. The terms of service for 2 City Council appointed public members will conclude on June 30th, 2025. The city initiated a recruitment on February 12th, 2025, and a total of 3 applications were received. On April 29th, 2025, Councilmember Rhodes and Arts Commissioner Plant interviewed the applicants and nominated 2 for appointment to a 2-year term on the Arts Commission. These terms begin July 1st, 2025, and conclude on June 30th, 2027. The following Arts Commission applicants have been nominated for appointment. As I call your name, please come forward. John D'Antona, Tiffany Wright, it is recommended that the City Council approve and the mayor appoint the 2 applicants nominated to the Simi Valley Arts Commission for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2025 and concluding June 30th, 2027.
Madam
This
Mayor,
concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
Madam Mayor, I'll move the nomination of the 2 candidates to the position.
Second.
The motion passes unanimously. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A2, ratification of the appointment of a representative to the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council, and Deputy Community Services Director Anna Medina is presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, VCAAA Advisory Council, represents the concerns of senior citizens countywide. It provides leadership, advocacy, and visibility for persons age 60 and over within Ventura County. The Advisory Council is comprised of 2 representatives from each city in the county and serves to advise the VCAAA on matters related to older adults. Each city's Council on Aging Executive Board selects 2 representatives to serve staggered 2-year terms on the 20-member Advisory Council. Will Al Brown please come forward?
You're more spry than that, I know it. You can add this one to your collection. He already has one on each side. Well, congratulations on volunteering once again.
Thank you. We
appreciate it.
have to move the appointment. Madam Mayor, I'll go ahead and move the appointment of Al
Second.
Brown to the position.
Second.
Call for the vote. Yes, please.
The motion passes unanimously. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A3, appointment of Americans with Disabilities Act Paratransit Advisory Committee members, and Deputy Public Works Director of Transit, Ben Gonzalez, is here to present this item.
There we go. Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and council members. A recent recruitment was conducted to fill the terms of 1 member and 1 alternate position on the Americans with Disability Act Paratransit Advisory Committee. On May 13th, council members Elaine Lister and Joseph Ayala selected 2 applicants and nominated 2 new members for appointment to the committee. The nominated individuals are not present tonight. However, I will announce their names for the mayor and council members. Roberta Gagliano, member, and Karen Bobango, alternate member. It is recommended that the City Council approve and the mayor appoint the candidates nominated to the ADA Paratransit Advisory Committee. This concludes staff's report, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Move the 2 candidates to the ADA Paratransit Advisory Committee.
Second.
Call for the vote. It's yes for me.
The motion passes unanimously. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A4, appointment of Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center Foundation board members, and Deputy Community Services Director Anna Medina is presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The Simi Valley Cultural Arts Foundation is a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides endowment and annual financial support for the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center. The foundation board is comprised of up to 21 voting members, including 7 City Council-appointed public members. All members serve staggered 4-year terms. There are currently 3 City Council-appointed vacancies on the foundation board, with terms beginning on July 1st, 2025, with 1 term concluding on June 30th, 2026, and 2 terms concluding on June 30th, 2028. I apologize that there's a correction to the staff report. The terms for Brandy Cosloy and Brian Park are set to expire on June 30th, 2028, and not 2029 as stated. The city initiated a recruitment on February 20th, 2025, and a total of 6 applications were received. On May 27th, 2025, Councilmember Litster and Councilmember Rhodes interviewed the applicants, 3 of which are being recommended for appointment this evening. The following Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center Foundation Board applicants have been nominated for appointment. As I call your name, please come forward. Brandy Cosloy, Lori Love, and Brian Park. It is recommended that the City Council approve and the mayor appoint the 3 nominees to the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center Foundation Board for a term commencing July 1st, 2025, with 1 term concluding on June 30th, 2026, and 2 terms concluding on June 30th, 2028. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
And Gina, why don't you come get in as president? Come get in the picture with him.
I'm going to go ahead and, I'll go ahead and move the appointment of these members to the board.
Second.
Call for the vote. Vote yes for me, please.
The motion passes unanimously.
Gina does so much work as president, and these three don't know what they've gotten into, but they will.
Well, we appreciate your volunteering to be part of the commission. Gina does a great job, so I'm sure she'll be a great leader for you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A5, appointment of Youth Employment Service Advisory Board members. And Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler is presenting this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. Since 1982, the Youth Employment Service Advisory Board has advised the City Council on matters related to youth employment. The board is comprised of 18 members. A total of 12 positions are currently vacant, 9 regular, 2 designated, and 1 alternate member position. On June 10th, a YES Advisory Board interview subcommittee interviewed the eligible applicants and nominated 10 for appointment. Additionally, the neighborhood councils nominated a representative for their vacant position on the YES Advisory Board. The Youth Council representative position is scheduled to be nominated in September after the new Youth Council term begins. If appointed, the applicants will serve terms commencing on July 1st, 2025, and concluding on June 30th, 2027, with the exception of the neighborhood council representative position, a youth representative position, a local business representative position, and a local government representative position, all with partial terms that will conclude on June 30th, 2026. The following individuals are being nominated this evening for appointment, and if present, please come forward as I say your name. Local business representative Tim Harrington, retired. Local business representative Chris Turner, executive director, Simi Valley Family YMCA. Local business representative Erica Ayala, community manager, JP Morgan Chase. Local government representative Chelsea Kennedy, field director, Ventura County Supervisor Janice Parvin's office. Local government representative Eric Lundstrom, director, Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District. Youth representative Rhythmika Naveen, student, Oak Park High School. Youth representative Autumn Veerway, student, Moore Park Community College. Member at large Gloria Bowman, retired. Member at large Ryan Taggart, work experience teacher, Royal High School. Alternate member Al Brown, retired. Neighborhood Council representative Michael Shaw, retired. The Youth Employment Service Advisory Board and the Neighborhood Councils recommend that the City Council approve and the mayor appoint applicants nominated to the Youth Employment Service Advisory Board. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions.
I'll move the appointment of these candidates to the board.
Second.
Call for the vote. Vote yes for me, please.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Simi Valley is such a great group of volunteers, so thank you all for beginners and ones that keep coming back. We need everybody, so thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A6, appointment of Youth Council members, and Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler is presenting this item.
This is the last one, I promise. Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The Simi Valley Youth Council was established in 1970 as an advisory board to the City Council on issues of concern to local youth and consists of 21 members and up to 3 alternates in grades 7 through 12. Youth Council members' terms of office expire on June 30th of each year. A recruitment to fill the 24 Youth Council positions was opened on March 10th, 2025, and concluded on April 23rd, 2025. A total of 90 applications were received. Interview panels met on May 27th, June 11th, and June 12th to interview the applicants. The interview panels nominated 21 applicants for Youth Council membership and 3 alternates. The following Youth Council applicants have been nominated for appointment. As I call your name, please come forward. Representing Royal High School, Jesleen Kangura. Rylan Downey. Representing Santa Susana High School, Nishta Kubsad. Gia Bhatt. Representing Simi Valley High School, Nandiha Krishnamurthy. Sadie Rowe. Representing Hillside Middle School, Aman Srijith. Representing Sinaloa Middle School, Claire Cryer. Representing Valley View Middle School, Brian Agak. Representing the community at large, Ethan Bott. Mahi Daga. Sanvi Daga. Ashlyn Adula. Vedika Gupta. Serena Kangura. Kishan Mehta. Rivmika Naveen. Dia Prabhuram. Elizabeth Rakowski. Daniel Sai. And Flora Yuan. Oh, and as alternates, Avery Opp. Surya Ravi Kumar. And Lauren Weitzman. It is recommended that City Council authorize and the mayor appoint the 24 applicants nominated to serve one-year terms on the Simi Valley Youth Council commencing on July 1st, 2025 and concluding on June 30th, 2026. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer questions at this time.
Madam Mayor, I'll move these candidates to be appointed to the Youth Council.
Second.
Call for the vote. Vote yes for me, please. A couple of you didn't get pens. Who didn't get a pen? Anybody?
However, the moment you turn the screen on, you can't see a good picture, so.
The motion passes unanimously.
And then maybe turn the screen off so you can get a better picture for them.
So this is our new youth council. Very good.
And with 90 applicants, guys, you should be very proud to be standing up there.
Mayor Pro Tem, Judge, and I usually argue because I went to Royal and he went to Simi. So we love all of you guys. So we know you'll do a great job, so we really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you. Thank you.
And Youth Council, please stay. We're going to take more pictures after the informational report.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3C1, informational presentation by Youth Council member Advaith Nair.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. My name is Adi Nair, and I'm the chair of the Simi Valley Youth Council. I recently graduated from Santa Susana High School and will be attending Yale University in the fall to study computer science, economics, and mathematics. Tonight, I'll be updating you on recent Youth Council activities and recapping this eventful term. The Youth Council recently concluded its annual escape room titled Cosmic Countdown, which was hosted at the Barrelwood Teen Center on June 19th and 20th. Across our 14 time slots, we raised over $500 for Gigi's Playhouse, a local organization that promotes various opportunities for individuals with Down syndrome. I'd like to sincerely thank Ethan Bott, our Youth Council Treasurer and Fundraising Chair, and the Youth Council members who participated for doing an outstanding job organizing this event. At our June 3rd meeting, the Youth Council met to discuss potential revisions to the Teen Crisis Resource Numbers that will be printed on the back of SVUSD Midland High School student ID cards. We collectively decided to include the National Human Trafficking Hotline and make slight formatting changes to make the information more readable. As I reflect on this Youth Council term, I'm both proud of our collective impact on this community and optimistic about the future of this organization. In September, we hosted our 6th annual Suicide Prevention Rock Painting Night at the Simi Valley Public Library to raise awareness for mental health. We saw a record number of attendees and money raised in the event's history. In October, we revitalized our Youth Summit, an event we used to gauge the concerns of our youth and develop solutions to counteract them. This event returned after nearly 5 years of hiatus due to COVID-19. It was a resounding success, attended by 150 students, which helped to form our work plan for the year. Furthermore, we attended the Simi Valley Street Fair and City Expo and dressed up for the Heritage Halloween event at Strathern Historical Park. In January, we typically host our Youth Town Hall in partnership with the Ronald Reagan Presidential Institute. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to cancel the event. The Youth Council quickly regrouped and successfully organized our inaugural Youth Impact Forum at Sinaloa Middle School in March. The forum provided immersive experiences aimed at educating youth about the dangers of substance abuse and encouraging healthy decision-making. For the first time, the Youth Council expanded our largest fundraiser, the Community Talent Show at the Cultural Arts Center, to 2 nights, increasing our profits and the number of acts we could accommodate. The Youth Council concentrated on beginning our fundraising efforts earlier in the year. I'm happy to report that this year's Youth Council term was the most successful fundraising year in recorded history. The proceeds from fundraising were used to support events throughout the year, such as the Youth Summit and the Youth Impact Forum, as well as to assist nonprofits in our community. To round out the term, the Youth Council continued its multicultural night, partnering with Santa Sue's International Club, where we increased the number of booths and performances. Finally, in late May, the Youth Council hosted its 3rd annual Teen Wellness Night at the Simi Valley Public Library, where we expanded our total booths from 30 to 43 and saw record attendance. To learn more about future Youth Council initiatives, please follow us at Simi Valley Youth Council on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as at SVYC2929 on TikTok. On behalf of the Youth Council, I'd like to sincerely thank Mayor Kavanaugh and the members of the City Council for their continued support of the Youth Council. On a personal note, I'd like to express my gratitude to the current Youth Council for their dedication in making this Youth Council term as successful as it was. I'd like to congratulate all incoming Youth Council members for next year's term. I have every confidence that you'll lead with passion to help this organization grow and reach new heights. I want to thank Ryan Fowler for being an outstanding Youth Council coordinator over the past year and for the tremendous amount of work he's contributed to allow the Youth Council to flourish. Likewise, I'd also like to thank Kristen Miller for her support as my Youth Council coordinator during my first 2 terms. As I prepare to enter college, I'm grateful that the values Youth Council has instilled in me will continue to resonate throughout all that lies ahead. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Councilmember Litzter.
First of all, we just have to say, Audie, wow, well done, congratulations, and congratulations on where you're head off to school, and we know great things are happening from you. I was just thinking of some of these fun events that we've all been part of, and just all of them were really outstanding. If you were to pick one, what was your favorite event of all of them?
Favorite event this term or in my entire youth?
Your entire youth council, and you've been on the youth council for 3 years, 3 terms.
Probably this year's Teen Wellness Night. This year's Teen Wellness Night was really well done, executed on the Youth Council's part. So yeah, it was a great experience. So that would be my top choice.
Fabulous, that's fabulous. And how delightful that you end the year raising funds for Gigi's Playhouse so successfully, and how lovely that you're thinking of others and for other youth and young adults to help them. Just outstanding. So just thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to point out, I think you've been on youth council longer than I've been on council. To the incoming students, the bar has been set. This is how you give a presentation to council. It was wonderful, flawless. I understand you write these yourself. Is that right? That's so impressive. Thank you for all you've done for the youth council over the years. Congratulations going to Yale. And I look forward to what the next crop of youth council leaders are going to show us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next item on the agenda is item 4, public statements. During this agenda item number 4, the City Council will hear public statements from the first 10 persons who have submitted speaker cards. After the first 10 persons have spoken, subsequent persons who submitted speaker cards will be called to speak during agenda item number 6, which is a continuation of item 4. Agenda item number 4 and agenda item number 6 are the times allotted for public statements on all items other than public hearings, appointments, and informational reports. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card was submitted to speak for this public statement item 4 for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Madam Mayor, unless you have any comments, we will begin the public statements.
Please begin.
I will be calling 3 names at once, so when the person finishes, please come up. Joseph Laporte, Vivian DeLuca, and Paris Murphy.
And I would just say, with everyone leaving, we completely understand it. Anyone who's standing, if you'd like to come take a seat and be more comfortable, know that we see your signs, we see you, but if you'd like to be more comfortable, please feel free. So,
Thank you, sir. You can go ahead.
That's going to be a tough act to follow. That was good. Mayor Dee Dee Kavanaugh, Council Member Elaine Lister, Council Member Rocky Rhodes, and Council Member Joseph Ayala. On behalf of the Arc of Ventura County, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks for your presence at the President's Breakfast honoring Simi Valley volunteers. Your attendance brought genuine joy to our community and reminded us how much it means when local leadership shows up, not just in title, but in spirit. As program manager for the Arc of Ventura and Simi Valley, I see firsthand the impact that recognition and connection have on the individuals we serve. We support and advocate for over 100 people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Simi Valley alone. When the young man you honored had the chance to shake your hands, he was absolutely glowing. The moment will stay with him and all of us for a long time. To continue building this connection, I'd like to personally invite you to join the ARC family at our 4th of July celebration on July 3rd at 11 a.m. at 3340 East Los Angeles Avenue. We'll be grilling hamburgers and hot dogs, enjoying the summer sun, and celebrating the kind of community spirit that makes Simi Valley special. It's a casual, joyful event, and I guarantee you'll leave with a smile on your face. Thank you again for your time, support, and presence. Your leadership helps make inclusion and appreciation real in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. My name is Vivian DeLuca, and I am the SEIU 721 Local Chapter Board President. I live here in Simi Valley. I stand before you today representing the countless city employees who work tirelessly, often without recognition. These are individuals who maintain our streets, respond to emergencies, ensure our city facilities run smoothly, and support every service that keeps this city vibrant and functional. Yet time and again, their contributions are met not with gratitude, but with oversight. Morale is strained, dedication is tested. When employees feel unseen, undervalued, and excluded from key decisions that shape their work, the entire city suffers. Appreciation isn't just about thank you notes and employee lunches. It's about fair treatment, inclusion, and investment in those that serve with pride. I urge the council to reflect on this. A city cannot thrive when its foundation feels neglected. Respect for city employees must be visible in action, in policy, in fair pay, in budget priorities, and in how this body chooses to engage with its workforce. Let's not let silence be mistaken for satisfaction. Let's choose recognition over dismissal, And let's ensure that the people who serve this community feel that this community and its leaders serve them in return. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and the members of City Council. My name is Paris Murphy, and I'm a dispatcher here at the Simi Valley Police Department, and I live in Simi Valley. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear me out tonight. Forgive me for having to bring my children to this meeting, but due to the low rate that Simi Valley Police dispatchers are currently being paid, I'm unable to afford childcare this evening. I've been a dispatcher for just over a year, and in the 1 year I've been here, 7 people have left the department due to the low pay, the mandatory overtime, and the constant pressures of being understaffed, underpaid, and overworked. Each one of those people cost the city approximately $50,000 to hire and train each of them. And they leave to do the exact same job in a neighboring city for better pay, which is a huge monetary loss for the city of Simi Valley taxpayers. The city of Simi Valley has grown exponentially in the last 10 years. However, the staffing and dispatch does not reflect the growing population. The amount of 911 calls in just the last year has increased exponentially, yet our staffing has decreased. The increase in call volume but shortage in staffing in turn reflects in the time it takes for us to answer calls and dispatch help as quickly as possible. A recent compensation study showed the Simi Valley Police Department has one of the lowest rates of pay for their dispatchers in the county. Another huge issue in dispatch department is our grossly outdated radio equipment. Again, in just the 1 year I've been working dispatch, we've had to have our radios repaired more times than I can count. Our system is so old, they no longer even make the parts necessary to fix the broken pieces. This is obviously a huge officer and citizen safety issue. We take it personally that the officers go home at the end of their shift, and a broken, outdated radio system puts our officers and citizens in danger. Due to the low staffing, we've had to have officers taken off patrol to work in dispatch to keep our center afloat. Not only will an officer cost the city double, if not more, to do the work of a dispatcher, he or she is now one less person to be available to patrolling the city. In order to run a fully staffed 24/7 dispatch center, we would need 17 people. We currently have 9 full-time dispatchers off training. And no disrespect to fast food workers, but the fact that dispatchers who are expected to help save lives make as much as an in-and-out employee should not be something the city is proud of. Again, I've been here for 1 year and I love my job, but this is the time that most people leave. This is the time as a dispatcher you really start to feel the impact of the low pay, the lack of retention, the mandated overtime to fill the gaps, and the constant schedule changes due to people leaving. And tell me, why should I stay? To sacrifice like we do for a city that doesn't appreciate it, tell me why I should. I know it's hard sitting up there to really understand the magnitude of the things I'm saying, so I'll leave you with this. I'm assuming that most of you live in Simi Valley and call this city your home. God forbid it's your child or your grandchild that stops breathing, or someone is breaking into your home. Tell me, who do you want to answer that phone? Someone who works 16 hours or more, who's underpaid, overworked, multitasking by answering multiple calls and dispatching at the same time due to the low staffing and an outdated and broken radio, no less? Is that the service that you would want for yourself and those you love? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next 3 speakers are Jim Paredes, Michael Shaw, and Dave Chadwick.
I wasn't actually planning on speaking today. I told them I would fill in as needed, but thank you guys for having me and seeing me up here. My name is James Paredes. I work for the City of Simi Valley Sanitation. Anyhow, I wrote something to put it together, and out of frustration, where am I at here? I think I lost my spot. Okay, here we go. So, I'm writing out to you, I'm writing out in frustration from the deep place of longstanding community commitment to the city. I proudly served the city for over 30 years and under 5 different deputy directors, Mr. Buell, Mr. Langley, Mr. Krieger. I've also seen the strengths and challenges within our departments. One thing clear is that I cannot ignore the decline of quality applicants. Public Works has, once had the cap, at one point the cap applications used to be 100 before one individual was hired. We've gotten to the point where now you just apply and you're hired. And that stems from not only from management qualifications to a general unit employee. Sanitation is especially impacted by nearly a decade within the short-staffed. The strains are visible, declining employees holding and standing jobs until afforded basic needs. Some receive public assistance, and I'm not making this up. We have employees that are getting public assistance. They are on welfare and they're getting food stamps, so to speak, or the EBT. These are city employees. They're moving away for affordable housing. Meanwhile, the city is serving that they continue to face the natures of disasters. I'm kind of getting off track, but I just wanted to emphasize that we as a city are facing natural disasters, fires, floods, et cetera, winds. And as these employees are moving further away, they're not going to be at your disposal when need be. I wanted to emphasize that. I was asked at one time, Jim, why do you stay? And I paused before I answered. I was told by a young lady because I believe that the city would eventually do and turn things around. But the longer I stay, the more I fear the hope is misplaced. And yet I still hold onto it. Because it kind of chokes me up when I talked about that part of it. Because if I care about the future of our community, we need to act now. We cannot afford to lose the good people, to our neighborhood cities. Fast food chains and retailer stores are competing for us in the same talent. That is just staffing issues and the matter of resilience and public safety in our civic pride. I share this criticism, but call for leadership to inspire the challenge that we have chance to make a place where we are public servants once again feel proud and support and valued. Let me not waste our opportunity as a city council. Please don't waste the opportunity to correct these woes and these downfalls within the city.
Your time is becoming up.
I thank you. I've kind of stumbled all over. Again, I didn't expect to speak, but thank you for all your guys' time, and I hope you guys take into what we brought into consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I ask that we keep the clapping and the bells down just a little bit? Not all the way, but just a little bit so that we can move it along a little bit quicker. I know you're excited, so go ahead, but just if we can move it along quicker, okay? Thank you. Mr. Shaw.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Great to see everybody. Boy.
We're not here for you.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to remind everybody that we have 4th of July coming up, and we're going to have a great fireworks show over at the park. The fireworks show, as we all know, and that celebration has turned into a staple for our city. A few years ago, it used to be handled by the Rotary, and now the Kiwanis is handling it. I wanted to kind of remind everybody that the Kiwanans make me look like the young teenage guy. So as we move forward to next year and our big 250th anniversary of our nation, everybody is talking about a 3-day celebration, a parade. And I thought, God, what a great idea. Let's get all the Rotary and the Kiwanans, and every philanthropic organization involved. And then the reality when you start, especially you talk to the treasurers of these organizations, it really brings it back home that we're talking sponsors and money. And so I really hope next year we do have a celebration. We do have our parade. It'd be great for our community. But I think we're going to need some help and direction from our city leaders to pull this off, because to kind of throw it on the shoulders of the Kiwanans, that just, it'd be really tough. Everybody would want it to happen and everybody would try their best. So I hope that we get some involvement from the city to where we can have that celebration. Last but not least, you're going to hear some news about people talking about my famous stop sign that I want at Sinclair and Cochrane and speed control. You'll hear a little bit of my city activism when other people ask you for that. Last but not least, and I'll shut up, when we just went through our city budget, we had some discussion about how we have just 4% retail space in our city. And then we start talking about our city tax, and it kind of plays all kinds of things against themselves, to where I ask, as our shopping trends differ, like now we shop at Amazon, do we get any tax revenue from the Amazon distribution center up on, where B of A is? Do we see any tax revenue since we're the end users? I guess Samantha would be asked. But aside from that, thanks. Night, you guys.
Hello, my name is Dane Chadwick, and I'm a resident of Simi Valley. Here tonight to talk to you about this famous stop sign on the corner of St. Clair and Cochrane. It has been an issue. I have actually lived on St. Clair for 37 years, and it is amazing to see just how fast people come off of Cochrane Street still thinking it's 45 miles an hour, but they've entered into a residential area that has now dropped to 25 miles an hour. And we have one small speed bump that you can easily go over at a very fast speed. It's not a speed bump at all. So tonight I would like to recommend to the city that they put in a four-way stop at the corner of St. Clair and Cochrane Street. Some time ago, I sat here listening to objections on a project that was just about 150 yards from that corner. And one of the council members had actually, regarding that corner, had actually spoke up and said, I went over there. I saw what everyone's talking about. You're coming over a bridge, you're coming down fast, now you have this turn, it's kind of a blind turn, and there's nothing there to reduce their speed or hold them back from continuing on at a higher speed than should be for that area. And that council member said, I'm surprised there's not a four-way stop there already. And that was about 4 years ago. So I would like to see if we could do whatever we need to do. I'd be happy to help. But whatever we can do to put that into motion, that would be great, and I would appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, I was actually hit pulling into my driveway. A car was coming around the corner so fast in 2021, pulling into my own driveway. Car just didn't see that I was stopping. I had my turn signal on, turning a right, bam, right into me. So anyway, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Perfect, thank you.
Julio Morales, Manuel Morales, and Irving Villasenor.
Come again.
Julio Morales, Manuel Morales,
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manuel Morales, and I'm an active street maintenance worker, and I live in Moore Park. We did a comp study for the Public Works last year, and it came out that we were $8 underpaid. But when the city hall did their study, and they told us that we were only $2 underpaid because they included insurance in the comp studies. And when we did our comp study, we did not include the insurance because other cities didn't include insurance. We need a raise because we are really struggling to make it with the pay that we're getting. We are the department that is mostly underpaid. When I say this, I'm talking about the street department. We top out at 27, but this is after working here for 5 years. There's workers that are getting paid 22 an hour and still have to support their families. And I've heard that some of them are on food stamps. And some of us don't own our own place. Do you guys think that with $22 an hour, we can afford to buy a house or even rent an apartment? And to top that, we still have to do standby for 2 weeks, nonstop. When we have to do standby for 13 hours after work, but they only pay us 24 hours for 1 hour out of those 23. Out of those 13 hours. Basically, 12 hours that we're on standby, we're working for free. And they still want us to respond within 30 minutes. When they tell us that we have to respond for 30 minutes, do you guys think we can take our families to the movies, to a soccer game? When we're on standby, this takes us away from taking our kids to play soccer. There's fast food restaurants that are getting paid more than the city employees. Before the street department had 22 employees, and now we're down to 10 employees. I really enjoy my job, and working for the city of Simi Valley is just a shame and unfair that it's the lowest paid city in Ventura County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Irving Villasenor.
All right. Can I start? Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name's Irving Villasenor. I've lived in Simi Valley my whole entire life, and I am here today to talk on behalf of the community who feel unheard, unprotected, and afraid. Recently, there have been multiple incidents where residents are being racially profiled by immigration agents or individuals who appear to be law enforcement or federal agents. These citizens are being stopped, questioned, followed, and intimidated, not because of anything they've done, but because of how they look, what language they speak, or where someone might be. What's even more disturbing is that many of these encounters are happening with unmarked vehicles in your city. No license plates in the front or in the back, right? And you might think, Irving, these are just he say, she say. My sister today, right there in white, was followed by one of these vehicles. And as they approached her and saw that she was a white mother, they kept going. But they were following her for a few miles. And this is happening in your city. As I was speaking to my mother and my grandmother, both U.S. citizens, but very afraid, they were telling me, Irving, please carry your birth certificate and your passport wherever you go. And I ask you, raise your hands if you think I should. I shouldn't. I should not. But that's what your residents, that's how they feel. These are US citizens. And it just, it breaks my heart. I was so angry, I wanted to cry when they told me that. Because I know my rights, but unfortunately my mother and my grandmother don't speak perfect English. And instead of talking, they just want to show their papers right away. You know, I didn't just come here, you know, just telling the story. I'm asking, I have some ideas. I want to increase police patrols in affected areas where some of these residents are being targeted. Active enforcement vehicles with license plates, you know, that is highly illegal are not being pulled over. So we ask ourselves in my community, are you involved? And as I see some of your faces, you know, I'm here, you know, I'm seeing you nod your face, you know, faces back and forth, and I don't think you do. But I'm here to bring awareness. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
The last three speakers are Jessica Villadares, Tony Rogers, and Michelle. Yes. Are you guys here? Okay, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Valladares, and I stand here today as a proud daughter of an immigrant. If it weren't for my mother's courage and sacrifice leaving the only home she knew at just 12 years old in search of something better, I wouldn't be standing here before you tonight. She arrived here in Simi Valley as a child, and thanks to her resilience, I have the privilege to say I was born and raised here. But to be honest, saying born and raised in Simi Valley hasn't always felt like a badge of honor. Too many people know this city for wrong reasons. The Rodney King trial, the reputation for retired cops, and the reality that it's a predominantly white community where people like my family often feel unseen and unheard. There's a persistent and dangerous narrative that immigrants don't contribute to our community, but I truly believe that the idea only survives in the minds of those who don't care enough to learn the truth. Anyone who is paying attention knows how deeply the Latino community lifts up Simi Valley. Latinos build the homes you live in, we maintain the gardens you walk past, we cook your meals, care for your children and elders, and keep local businesses alive. We show up early, we leave late, and work harder than anyone ever asks us to. And most importantly, we take care of each other and everyone else. There is a simple way of life that my mother taught me: love and care for your neighbor. That principle is so easy yet so rare today. Growing up, my family didn't have much. In fact, we struggled a lot. And yet I remember my mother always opening our door to feed our neighbors, even when feeding us was already hard enough. As a child, I couldn't understand why she would give away what little we had, but now I do. She was teaching me that true community means lifting up the people next to you, no matter who they are. That is what Latinos are at heart. We take care of everyone, black, white, brown, rich, or poor. We don't ask anyone where you came from, we just make sure that you are fed. So it breaks my heart and it angers me to see my community treated like criminals and outsiders, to see Latino families racially profiled, targeted, harassed, and detained, and made to feel like they don't belong. This is my mother's home. This is all she has. It is where she made a life when she was a child herself, and I will fight every single day to make sure she is safe here and that everybody in my community is safe here. One day, I hope I can stand anywhere in this country and say, I am from Simi Valley with nothing but pride in my heart. But right now, I can't, because too many people here pretend my community doesn't matter, doesn't belong, and doesn't deserve love or respect. I'm asking you, not as politicians, but as neighbors, to remember my mother's simple lesson. Love and care for your neighbor. Listen to us, protect us, see us as your equals. We have given so much to the city, it's time the city gives something back, and all we want is dignity, safety, and a promise that we belong here too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Michelle Spolidoro. I live on Welcome Court, which is at the top of Cochrane, right before you're going to go over the bridge towards the cemetery. And I'm here to address a very serious safety issue. I have a 3-year-old grandson. All the neighborhood kids now think it's like I'm the Kool-Aid house, so they're always at my house, and I have to go riding with them because if my grandson's going. So I would think that the kids would be safe with me, with an adult riding bikes with them. 2 days ago, a car came around the corner on Cochrane, pouring into the condos, the townhouses at the end of the street. If we had been 2 seconds before, that just 2 seconds earlier, my grandson, my 3-year-old grandson, and 2 of the neighborhood kids, Bailey, who is 12, and Colin, who is going to turn 9, would have been killed. And I can't even tell you what that was like to watch. This is not the first time that this has happened. This is not going to be the last time that this has happened. Unfortunately, it is going to end in a death of a child or an adult. This has to be fixed. And it's not just a 4-way stop on St. Clair, because people come flying down the hill past the cemetery around, down the hill here on Cochrane, so fast. There's been so many times when I've been pulling out of Welcome Court to turn left, and they're coming so fast that I didn't even see them coming, and I looked both ways several times each time. So I don't know what we need to do to get the help, to get this taken care of, but please, let's not let somebody get killed over this.
Thank you.
Tony Rogers?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and council members. I'm here tonight to continue the serious and dangerous discussion we have about Welcome Court and Cochrane Street. This stretch of road has become a significant daily hazard due to drivers regularly speeding downhill at excessive speeds, often over 60 miles per hour, while approaching a blind curve at extremely limited visibility. This isn't just a hypothetical concern. That's my wife. That's my grandson. So, I've personally, just put this down, I've personally almost been struck with my wife and our dog and my grandson and I getting across, rushing rapidly to get to the other side. There's some young children that have now moved in right on the corner there, and they play basketball. They're the sweetest kids, and now they come to our house and you know, just play. And it would only take you guys, literally, what is it, $10,000? I'm sure you guys can come up with some federal grants, some money. The studies have been there. You guys have, you know, they've gone through that project before, or they've done the street, you know, survey. And I'm just asking you, put this forth to put some stop sign in or some speed bumps to alleviate this, because no one wants this on their head. You know, if there's a death of a child or a baby, knowing that people came up here and just asked for a simple fund to put in 4 signs, pieces of metal. I'm sure we could even, in the neighborhood, come up with the funds. Just give us the permits to allow us to do it. And you guys just sign off on it. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next item on the agenda is item 4A, City Council comments regarding public statements.
Anyone wish to speak? All right, seeing none.
Actually, I think I would like to
Okay.
respond for a moment.
Councilmember Litzter?
Thank you. Thank you for those of you who discussed your concerns about Welcome Court. They're being heard. Glad, Michael, that you're bringing and making sure that people are heard. I really do appreciate that, and I'm sure that our city manager is hearing it, and we'll take it to the Public Works Department and Safety. They both hear it. They both heard it. Okay, thank you. So I just want you to know that the people to make things happen are in this room, and so thank you for bringing that to our attention, and hopefully we'll get some answers quickly, because that is concerning. A couple other, the very first gentleman, did you happen to catch what time on the July 3rd that we were invited to go to that? Was it 11 a.m.? Okay, I just want to be sure I knew what time lunch was on July 3rd. Thank you. And Mr. Irving, thank you for registering your concern. I want you to be aware, too, that our chief of police, you had mentioned that you want to be sure that there are cars patrolling and et cetera, that's not following. So what I want you to know is that our chief of police, Steve Shores, is here listening to, and I'm sure he would. So maybe when there's a moment, you can have a conversation about where that's taking place geographically, so that we can be sure that there's not anything inappropriate happening. So, but anyway.
I just want you to be aware that they're very fast.
All right, thank you.
No,
We just can't have conversation
yeah.
back and forth.
So
It's okay.
No, it's all right. I just want you to know that you're heard, and maybe you can have a conversation with our chief of police, who can maybe chat with you about locations, et cetera. So I just want you to
Perfect,
be
thank you.
heard. So anyway, thank you everyone that was here for your comments, and Michael, always appreciate what you have to say, and your concern for the 4th of July celebration is valid and heard, and we need to make 250 years memorable. So now's the time for planning. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, we can move on.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is public hearings. This is the time for testimony on public hearings on the consideration of matters as presented on this agenda. Let the record show that due notice was given as required by law, and an affidavit to this effect is on file in the office of the City Clerk. All comments submitted by email have already been provided to the City Council and will be made part of the record. However, they will not be read by the City Clerk this evening. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card was submitted for this public testimony, item 5, for a period of no more than 5 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Comments shall be limited to matters relevant to the item on the agenda and may be ruled out of order if comments are unrelated to the item. The reports of the city staff relating to these matters shall be made a part of the record of this meeting. If you challenge in court any of the City Council decisions made here tonight, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing. The time within which judicial review must be sought is governed by California Code of Civil Procedure, Section 1094.6. Item 5A, a public hearing to consider the proposed fiscal year 2025-26 assessments for Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1 and adoption of the resolution approving the assessments. The reading of the resolution is as follows. Resolution number 2025-18, a resolution confirming the diagram and assessment for those lots and parcels included within Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1, levying the assessments for the fiscal year 2025-26, and ordering improvements specified in the engineer's report. And Public Works Director Ron Fuchiwaki is here to present this item.
Before we begin, are there any ex parte communications to report? Seeing none, staff may begin with the oral report on this matter.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and council members. On May 19th, the City Council adopted the necessary resolutions and set a public hearing for tonight, June 23rd, to consider the proposed FY 25-26 assessments for Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1. No change to the existing assessments are being recommended at this time. The district operates under the authority of the State Landscaping and Lighting Act of 1972. There are a total of 99 landscape zones in the district, including 48 active zones and 51 contingency fallback zones. Active zones are maintained by the city and funded through assessments to the property owners within each active zone and a contribution from the general fund. Fallback zones are maintained by homeowners associations or property owners. For FY 25-26, the cost to maintain the assessment zone areas is approximately $1.36 million, which will be funded by approximately $800,000 from assessments and approximately $560,000 from the Landscape Augmentation Fund, which is funded by the general fund. Staff continues to take steps and explore opportunities to reduce costs, including modifying the landscape maintenance contracts by reducing the frequency and certain tasks and applications required while still maintaining the aesthetics of the city's landscaping, implementing smart irrigation controllers, low water use plantings, and replacing plant material with ground cover, wood chips, and bark, replacing plants, foliage, and trees with low water use options or implementation of hardscape where deemed appropriate, implementing turf removal projects to reduce the amount of high water use landscaping. A resolution to establish the FY 25-26 assessments for Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1, a map of the landscape zones, the engineer's report, and a summary of the proposed assessments by zone are included in this evening's report. It is recommended that at the close of the public hearing, the City Council approve the FY 25-26 assessments for Landscape District Number 1, which will remain the same at their current levels. That concludes our report. We're available for questions.
Are there any questions of staff from the City Council? Councilmember Rhodes.
Mr. Fujiwaki, why do we want to keep them the same if costs are going up?
There is a process that could be considered with regards to increasing assessments in the zones. It involves the Proposition 218 process that you're familiar with, but it's not a protest process, it's a majority vote process. So residents in each zone would have to vote in favor of increasing the assessments. Up to this point, the city has not taken on that task of attempting to increase assessments by a majority vote.
And we wouldn't have to adjust all 19 at the same time. And I'm sorry, I used the word 19. Is it 19?
48.
48. I knew it was wrong. All 48 at the same time. We could do one at a time by working with the residents to have them understand why a fee assessment is going to, or an increase is going to be necessary.
I assume, yes, I assume that's a possibility.
So I don't have any other questions at this time.
Thank you. Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you. Are there any additional zones being added, or are we at the number we have is the number we have?
There are no additional zones being added. I believe back in late 1990s or 2000s, the City Council adopted a policy not to add any more zones.
All right. Because I was going to say if we were, that gives us an opportunity, right, to kind of even it out and not really contribute at all. But if we're at the limit, then I have no more questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Litzter.
Just a quick question of understanding, and we have this conversation every year, and I know to change these rates are daunting, if not impossible. My question is does the law allow for a inflation index increase, any kind of built-in escalation on costs at all, or is it just, it is what it is?
It more or less is what it is. I believe when these were originally established, there were no inflation factors, and I'm not even sure if an inflation factor could be included, but
Maybe that's a lot. Maybe that's a question for our attorney who's sitting right next to me.
That's not a question I've looked into, but I'm aware that there is nothing in the law that permits you to do that right now. And so you'd have to go through the whole assessment process with them approving it by a majority to do any increase. So unless the law...
So we can't go and write a new code that says, going forward, all landscape districts are tied to the cost of inflation or something. We can't do that.
I'm aware of no law that would give us the ability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. When I first started on the council, that was one of the things I looked at. I'm like, we're kind of stuck because people are not going to approve an increase in their own taxes, I don't think. It would be a hard pill to swallow. But we can try and work it. Rocky's a good talker. We might want to send him out. All right, at this time, I would like to open this hearing for anyone in the City Council chambers wishing to be heard on this matter.
Madam Mayor, we have no speakers.
Thank you. Does staff desire, well, there's nothing to respond to unless you want to respond to any other comments by the council.
No.
No?
Did you want to speak?
I haven't closed it yet.
And you may have come up and they may give you a card just to put your name down, et cetera, but.
Thank you. My name is Howard Heron. Been living in the community for 20 years. My thought was, they seem to be broken down by district, that perhaps you could go to local landscape companies and empower them at a lesser rate to take pride in certain sections. Certainly the city has wage numbers and stuff they have to abide by, but if you could find local companies that would take over a 1 block or a 2 block section and take pride in that, and you could advertise who they were, and as the city drive-bys, that would be a benefit to them. They could do the work for less, and then that would maybe prevent you from having to raise rates. You might get a better quality of work because they have a pride in that area or that zone. And then you could, since they're already broken up by districts, you could make sure that the companies that you're hiring either have an office in that district or they live in that district, ownership. You could go after women-owned businesses and those types of things, but sort of empower the citizens of the city to take care of their own areas. And certainly there's going to be some spots that are in the thoroughfare that might be too difficult to handle, but certainly sidewalks and parkways and walkways and things like that could be maybe helped out by those that do it all the time. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always good to hear outside the box thinking. Do you have any comments to the public comment?
No.
All right, thank you. This hearing is now closed. Are there any further comments or questions from the city council members? Councilmember Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My comment is this, and perhaps it's because I don't remember, maybe we've had this before me before, I don't remember it coming up, but the idea that we have to lose $1.36 million a year, which really means that all taxpayers are funding the benefit of the individual parcels, that's not fair. And so I don't know that we've ever actually tried. I've heard two different comments of it's just too hard to do, but I don't know that we've ever actually tried. Have we reached out to homeowners ever to say, hey, would you consider paying more to maintain the property associated with your community?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's what I thought. And so I'm going to recommend that we vote to extend this one more year, but I'm going to expect that we as staff, as the city, come up with an action plan to say, let's figure it out. Let's see how we're going to do this. Because the other option, which is a horrible option, is we could just concrete stuff over, paint it green, and then we don't have any expense to maintain it anymore. But losing $1.36 million a year from our general fund when we have so many other things that we need to do for the benefit of a subset of our community, that's just fundamentally not fair, and we need to figure it out. And I like, Howard, I didn't get your last name, I'm sorry, but that type of other thinking of other ways to do it less expensively. I know that the cost reductions that you guys have been doing has been phenomenal, and has been maintaining a slower rate of growth in the expense, which is outstanding. But we need to actually solve this problem, and maybe this is the year that we start doing that.
All right, thank you. Are there any further comments? I will now entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'll move to adopt resolution number 2025-18, approving fiscal year 25-26 assessments for the Simi Valley Landscape District 1.
Second.
Thank you. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We may proceed to the next item.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next item on the agenda is item 7, the consent calendar, and there are 2 resolutions for your consideration this evening. Consent item 9, resolution number 2025-19, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley implementing a schedule of sanitation rates and fees and authorizing the County of Ventura to collect residential sanitation service rates on the tax roll for fiscal year 2025-26. Consent item 10, resolution number WWD-299, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Ventura County Water Works District Number 8, establishing a water service standby charge for fiscal year 2025-26.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move consent.
Second.
Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. On to our next item, please.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 9A, adoption of a resolution approving the Single-Family Home Rehabilitation Program guidelines and authorization to submit the program and related documents to the Department of Housing and Community Development for recertification and authority for the city manager to approve budget amendments. The reading of the resolution is as follows. Resolution number 2025-20, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley adopting guidelines for the Single-Family Home Rehabilitation Program, and Environmental Service Director Stratus Peros and Management Analyst Lindsay Scaringe are here to present this item.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh, members of the council. Very happy to bring forth to you tonight the Home Rehabilitation Program. The city has a long-standing home rehabilitation program that provides low-interest, deferred payment loans for income-eligible homeowners to make health and safety repairs to owner-occupied single-family residences. In the past 10 years, the city has provided 75 rehabilitation loans, totaling approximately $2.8 million. The last program update was in 2013, and since then, there have been several new state requirements and policy changes. And such, the state's Housing and Community Development Department is requiring the city to recertify the program before new loans can be issued. We'll get our PowerPoint going here in a moment, but to give you an idea of the types of projects that are included in the home rehabilitation program, they include energy-related improvements, lead-based paint, hazard evaluation and reduction activities, asbestos inspection and abatement, termite inspection, extermination, improvements to handicap accessibility, and the repair or replacement of major housing systems, which include plumbing, electrical, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, roofing, structural supports, and cladding and weatherproofing. Here's a few recent examples of home rehab programs that have occurred in the city. On the right, you'll see the above the existing roof, and then below it the roof after it was completed through the home rehab program. On the far left is a patio improvement where the patios are replaced in its entirety. And also in the lower left, the exterior before shows a house where, and then afterwards, a driveway improvement, as well as the exterior cladding of windows and stucco repair. So I'd be happy to introduce Management Analyst Lindsay Scaringe tonight to make the presentation.
Good morning, good evening, well, good evening, not good morning, Mayor Kavanaugh, members of the City Council. As mentioned, let me start over. Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The city has maintained a longstanding home rehabilitation program to assist homeowners in need of vital repairs, like Mr. Peros had mentioned. The program was last updated in 2013, and since that time, new state requirements and policy changes have taken effect. This evening, I am pleased to present the updated Home Rehabilitation Program guidelines for your consideration and approval. Upon approval, these guidelines will be submitted to HCD as part of the city's recertification process to continue offering this valuable resource to our residents. The Home Rehab Program is funded through federal and state sources, specifically the Home Investment Partnerships Program and the CalHome Program. These grants were previously awarded to the city, invested into earlier rehab loans, and have since been repaid, making them available once again to support eligible homeowners. The program offers deferred payment loans at a low 2% interest rate with no monthly payments required. These loans are available to income-eligible homeowners and may be used to address health and safety concerns and code violations guided by California Health and Safety Code, Section 17920.3. The City of Simi Valley's Housing Division will administer the program under the guidelines set forth by HCD, ensuring full compliance and continued support for our community. As previously mentioned, to comply with grant funding requirements, eligibility is limited to homeowners who occupy the property as their primary residence and whose household income does not exceed 80% of the area median income based on household size. Additionally, homeowners who currently have an active city loan or have received a city loan within the past 15 years are not eligible to participate at this time. This table lists the 2025 maximum income limits for the program, which is 80% of the area median income limits for Ventura County based on household size. For the property to be eligible, it must be a single-family owner-occupied residence located within Simi Valley's incorporated boundaries. Additionally, applicants must be current on property taxes, carry insurance coverage, including flood insurance, if the home is within a flood zone, and have a stable mortgage structure with no adjustable rate or interest-only loans, and no more than one loan currently held on the property. The loans for this program are designed to minimize the financial burden on homeowners while encouraging early repayment. They carry a simple 2% interest rate that is deferred until the second half of the loan term. The loan term is aligned with the homeowner's existing primary mortgage. If there's no primary mortgage, or if the primary mortgage term ends within 5 years, the city loan will have a 15-year term. If the primary mortgage extends beyond 5 years, the city loan will be set for a 30-year term. No repayment is due until the end of the loan term unless the property is sold, transferred, or otherwise no longer eligible. Voluntary payments are accepted at any time with no prepayment penalties. Because there are no monthly payments required on the city loan, the intention is that the homeowners may choose to begin repayment once their primary mortgage has been paid off. The minimum loan amount available through the program is $15,000. To ensure responsible lending, the combined loan-to-value ratio, factoring in both the primary mortgage and the city's loan, must not exceed 80% of the after-rehabilitation value. The maximum loan amount is determined based on two key factors: the total subsidy allowed and the maximum allowable after-rehabilitation property value. Please note that the thresholds may vary slightly between the federal home funds and the state Cal Home funds in accordance with funding guidelines. The city currently has $1,571,955 of home funds and $594,937 of Cal Home funds available to support the program. The max allowable after rehabilitation property value is currently set at $704,000 for home and $875,000 for Cal Home. The max loan amount under the home program is based on the number of bedrooms in the home. For example, a 2-bedroom home may qualify for up to $252,994, and the max loan amount for Cal Home is $200,000 or for rehabilitation and $250,000 for reconstruction. Only essential improvements are eligible, including items such as plumbing, HVAC, roofing, accessibility and structural issues, weatherization, and windows. If any of these components are in working order at the time of inspection, but estimated to need replacement within 5 years, those improvements are also eligible for repair. To ensure quality control and regulatory compliance, contractors must be licensed, bonded, and free of federal debarment. They must also obtain a city business tax certificate. Homeowners may choose to solicit 3 bids or allow city staff to manage the competitive bid process. The homeowner selects the contractor and contracts with them directly with city overview. All work must meet local codes, state and federal regulations, and program standards. There are some differences between the most recent 2013 approved guidelines and the proposed guidelines for 2025. In 2013, loans were capped at $50,000 with 2% simple interest for a 15-year term, and the wait period before applying for a new city loan was 5 years. The 2025 program shifts the focus to full home rehabilitation. All codes, safety, and health deficiencies need to be addressed, and the loan amounts are based on need, subject to value and subsidy limits. Interest accrues the second half of the loan only. For example, if a 30-year loan is repaid in the first 15 years, the homeowner will pay no interest on the loan. Terms are 15 or 30 years depending on the length of the primary mortgage. Since all necessary repairs are addressed, the wait period before applying for a new city loan has been increased to 15 years. With the new loan structure designed to rehabilitate all necessary repairs and max loan amounts in the $200,000 range, it is anticipated that there will be a decrease in the number of city loans awarded, but an increase in the overall benefit to participants. In addition to any updates provided by regulations or policy changes, the program guidelines will be updated annually when new income limits are released and reapproved by HCD every 2 years per their direction. Homeowners have the ability to sign up for the Home Rehabilitation Interest List on the city's website. Individuals on this list will be notified directly with program updates. Upon approval of the program guidelines, city staff is prepared to launch the program as soon as HCD provides their final approval. The program launch will begin with outreach conducted to ensure community awareness, and to promote fairness and transparency, homeowners will have the ability to submit their applications during a predetermined time frame. Applications will be reviewed on a first-come, first-served basis. Staff recommends City Council approve items 1 through 4 as listed above and on the staff report. Staff is available for questions.
Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you. So I know that the applications are reviewed on a first-come, first-served basis, but how are you choosing which projects are getting funded versus not being funded?
It'll be first come, first serve. So we'll look at the first application. If they meet the criteria, then we go ahead and start the process to go to the next step, which would be the home inspection to see the scope of work needed, to then see if they're after rehab value and whatnot meet the guidelines as well. So it really is like a first come, first serve.
And are they reimbursing as part of the loan the city time to go out and do the inspections and all of that, or are we just doing that?
Home does allow for administrative costs, and we do recoup. We use our time and recoup those costs.
And then are we getting any more funding? Is this a continuous funding that we're getting, or is it just that the money we have is the money we have?
The money we have is the money we have. Staff will continue to look for funding opportunities when we get to the point where funding is limited.
So then, and the idea is it kind of can be self-funded, right? Meaning people are paying back and that money then goes to someone else's loan. Is that right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Lister.
Thank you, and I appreciate the presentation, and I think maybe you've just answered my first question, but I'm going to ask it just slightly different, because I think Councilmember Ayala asked it. So it is first come, first served basis. However, is it truly that, or do you assess the severity of need? Is that part of it at all, or is it just, no, your application's in first and we'll do your patio even though this person's maybe the next day and their bathroom is broken? I don't know. I'm just trying, is there some deference for the
Well, it's
severity?
all health and safety needs, so it isn't necessarily somebody who just needs something minor or cosmetic wouldn't be eligible for the program.
So you're suggesting they're all equally needy, is what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, fair enough.
Ideally, though, if that one who only has a minor
Right.
issue or minor correction, it wouldn't take a whole $200,000 to repair. So then we could move on to the next with
Makes-
funds still available.
Got it. Okay. Question on page 14, it talks about part of the inspection is to determine if some of the projected work could be covered with an insurance claim. And so my question is, if they find that yes, insurance claim could be applied for, do you then find them ineligible, or does the city help navigate with insurance and with this program? Do you work together? Does that make sense?
It does, yes. If that was discovered that the insurance could potentially cover the claim, that would be provided to the loan review committee to look at the application as a whole, to then see if their scope of work would truly be covered by the insurance and how it's best to proceed with that, or if it really should just be a rehab loan.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. So page 16, 17 talks about the program operator having great oversight with inspection completion. Are you the program operator? Have we designated our program operator? Are we looking at her?
It will be, environmental services.
I'm just kind of curious if there's a name that goes with that.
Yes, I will be handling that piece.
Okay, very good. And one other just small question. I didn't see anything that talked about length of ownership. So, yes, they have to reside in the residence, but is there a minimum length that they, in other words, could someone just buy the home and realize it was bought it as a wreck? I don't know, and then at the next week's come and apply saying, help me.
They could, if they used our down payment assistance program and had a city loan for that, then no.
They're not eligible.
They wouldn't
Okay.
be eligible, but yes, the length of time isn't a factor, just the fact that they are in the house for the duration of the loan.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Rhodes?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to ask the question a third way. How is it possible that we still have $2 million to give away when this is essentially free money?
A few reasons. Since we were so out of date with our program update, HCD has not let us do any loans for the past, I want to say, 2 to 3 years until we got this up and running. Now, the process to get this up and running, there have been changes in new directions from HUD that have trickled down to HCD, that have trickled down to us. So even just in the year that I've been preparing this, it has new policies and procedures have come through every step of the way. So just getting everything up to date to current standards and policies has taken a little extra time.
I've never heard of HUD interfering with the progress that we're trying to make at the city. That's weird. Councilmember Ayala alluded to the fact that this could be self-funding. How many loans have we issued out that have actually been returned or repaid at this point?
Oh, you know what? We've had this program since the early 80s. So overall, I'm not sure how many we've received funds from. I know that the last year we received payments for 6 home loans.
Payments, but payments in full?
Payments in full, yes.
Payments in full of 6.
Payments in full.
And then that's part of the $2 million that we can now
Yes.
reissue?
Yes.
Excellent. Are there any incentives to the homeowners to pay back early?
We built in that interest not accruing until the second half of the loan, so that if they are able to pay within the first half of the loan, they will not accrue any interest and potentially would have an interest-free loan. So that's our goal, is to try to get people to repay a little sooner when they're able to, so we have that funding available.
Excellent. And just, and maybe this is the same answer that you just gave, but how much money is out there in loans currently?
We have about $2 million out in loans in principal that we're expecting to receive at some point in the future.
Excellent. I'm trying to visualize the person who ends up getting one of these loans with the low income status, less than 80%, and I'm trying to visualize that person. Who has been the principal borrower in the past, and how do we think we'll reach more of that subset?
But we do have an outreach marketing plan. Home Funds requires us to kind of calculate based off of our census what populations are made up, Simi Valley is made up of, and to target those specific subsections. And then from there, we're going to be launching as big of an outreach as we can, really social media, city focus, employee newsletters, neighborhood councils, flyers. When I get an idea of our census and look more into that, we're ready to launch. I'll start looking at maybe we look at the Samaritan Center, or maybe we look at places, senior center, things like that, where we could get the word out.
Because ultimately, if I'm looking at it, if you're less than 80% AMI and it needs to be a single-family home with the first mortgage on it and no second mortgage, and we're really talking probably about seniors who have lived in the home for some time and it's falling into disrepair, and focusing our efforts on finding those folks and assisting them would be a great thing for the city. This is a great program for the city, and thank you for administering it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilmember Litster?
Not a question, but just a comment. Thank you for getting this to the point that it can get started again, because I can see a lot of potential need, and it will be well received, I'm sure. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to adopt a resolution approving the Home Rehabilitation Program guidelines, authorize the Environmental Services Director to administratively update the program guidelines as required, subject to city attorney approval, and authorize the city manager to submit the program to the Department of Housing and Community Development for recertification and approve budget amendments and all related documents as needed to comply with the grant requirements.
Second.
Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 9B, request for direction on the issuance of a letter of support for a private access easement to allow the development of the Enzo Verde Residential Care Facility, and Assistant City Manager Luis Garibay is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight for your consideration is the issuance of a letter of support to encourage the dedication of a private access road easement needed for Enzo Verde, which is a proposed 297-unit residential care facility located at the southwest corner of Chapel Canyon Road and Guardian Street. Enzo Verde is a collaboration of Kendall, which is a leading non-for-profit organization of communities, programs, and services that advocate for and empower older adults to achieve their full potential. In order for the project to move forward, the Ventura County Fire Protection District is requiring Enzo Verde to provide at least 2 means of ingress and egress to the development. Now, due to the unique location of this site, Enzo Verde would need to obtain an easement from at least one of its neighboring property owners to meet that requirement. Over the past 2 years, Enzo Verde project team has made numerous attempts to negotiate and acquire an easement from one of the property owners, but have been unsuccessful to date. Back in May, the project team reached out to the city and requested the city support in the form of a letter to encourage one of the 2 adjacent property owners to work with them to move this very important project forward. Without an easement, this project or others in the future are unlikely to be able to be developed on this site. Representatives from the Enzo Verde project team are here tonight to answer any questions regarding the project itself or the specifics about the easement, and staff is also available to help answer any questions. Thank you, and we'll leave it up.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Judge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quick, on this, I'm very much in favor of writing this letter. This is a very important project for our city. I think its development is imperative. It's going to bring a lot of jobs to our city. It also provides support for mobile seniors that are able to get out and spend money in our town and do things like that. So I'd like to push this forward as fast as we possibly could. Also, on the caveat that I do appreciate the letter, I'd also like to see if the council would agree with me on setting up possibly a committee. I would like it to be made up of a council member, a planning commissioner, and Mr. Garibay himself to go out and talk to these property owners that are having trouble, coming to grips with an easement like this, to find out exactly what their fears are, their holdups, or what they want. because I think this is long overdue and it needs to get done. That's my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Tam. Councilmember Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I may have solved this problem by looking at the map. So, and I didn't see anything about this in the staff report, but Pepper Tree Lane, which it goes up to Brandeis University, is there any safety issue if we come up with an agreement for an egress to come out to Pepper Tree Lane at not right at the intersection, but further south on the road?
I'll probably defer that to the project team. I know there has been discussions and that is an option. I don't know how far along that option kind of went.
Because I could see making a deal of saying, hey, Brandeis, we're going to pay for a beautiful new gate up here so that we can use that part of the street, but I don't know any of the people up there, so.
Well, we as the development team, not the city, of course.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Yeah, the development would pay for that nice gate, not the city.
Right.
Yes.
So, I'm also in favor of writing this letter, but I would like to see if we could explore reaching out to Brandeis. And if the fire department says that that is an acceptable egress, I would like to explore that as well.
Councilmember Litster.
And maybe we should hear from the team to address your question, but I will say that they have absolutely spoken with Brandeis and reached out to them trying to work things out, but they are, maybe let you respond first, and then I will share what I'm aware of.
Good evening, Howard Herron again. Yes, we've reached out to Brandeis for 3 different options. One would be on an unimproved portion of land that is on the northernmost portion of their open space, which is landlocked and not developable. To the left, going east, we've looked at going across 2 parcels. It's probably not as viable, as those property values do have value. And then, of course, as you mentioned, going completely south, Pepper Tree goes up and over and comes out on the other side in an HOA. We have proposed to them to pay up to $1.5 million to develop and modify that road so that it works both for them and their people to leave the site, and of course to be used by us. Again, only in the case of an emergency. It wouldn't be a situation where guests or tenants or anyone would leave the property and turn right and go south. It would be much easier to go out the front gate. So we have approached that with them. To date, have not gotten either a response or a direction or guidance from them. So certainly anything you guys could do would be great. They are in the county, but other than that, certainly a committee would be great, and we'd be happy to be a part of that.
Councilmember Litster, any other questions or comments?
A couple of comments, but I will say thank you, that you are much more accurate, but that is what I've heard, that they have attended board meetings, and yet their situation right now, they're not willing to make any decisions because of other things going on. I think Mayor Pro Tem Judge articulated that this is a critical, beautiful project that really we need in our community, and it's just, I would hate to think that that is what would stop it. And I understand it's at the point now that easement has to be found somehow, or else the project will end. And so, yes, certainly in favor of writing the letter, and I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Judge that yes, a committee would be worthwhile, would be very valuable to go sit down with Rexford or Prologis and Brandeis as well. All 3 would be very appropriate. And so I certainly would be happy to even make a motion to modify it. And I know, Mayor Pro Tem Judge, that is actually your district, and if you desire to be the person, I certainly, either way, would certainly support that. Whomever, it's just very worthwhile. So, and thank you for being here this evening to speak to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you. If even writing the letter doesn't work, have you explored, is there any way to change the plan as it exists so that the easement is now on the Enzo Verde property?
So the Enzo Verde property needs a secondary access to public streets.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to get there is to go across some small portion of a neighbor's property. The route that we have most recently had hoped for went westerly across just a few, maybe 100 yards, just about 25 feet wide of some undevelopable open space belonging to AJU, across Parks and Recs, which they are all for, and then out to the street, which was a great way to get out. It opened up a trailhead, et cetera. However, the existing secondary access that goes south on Pepper Tree up and over is also very viable, because if we can develop that for them, it helps them in any future development. So by having their secondary access developed, it not only does it benefit the community that's being developed, but it benefits AJU and all of their clubs and campuses and guests and the kids that come there for their secondary access. We'd be happy with either, both of which for safety purposes and for the community, because it opens up whether it be hiking trails going in one direction or benefiting the community of AJU in the other direction. So we're happy with either. We just need one.
And we have the staff report, but I'm wondering from your perspective, why do you think they don't want the easement?
I
asked that question only
for them.
The only reason that I asked that question, because it helps if we're going to send someone out, which is kind of on the table here. It kind of helps to understand why you think.
Yes. I think that there is a combination of, they are also a nonprofit, so they potentially move slowly to make sure they make the right decisions, which is a good thing. However, it's also possible that there's a paralysis through analysis, and perhaps there is some behind-the-scenes stuff that we have not been made aware of as to why this might be something that they are skeptical about. So I think there'd be three possible options, but to pick one, I couldn't, because they have not told us specifically why.
Very good, thank you.
You handled that very well.
A little sweaty.
Councilmember Litzer.
Thank you. And I just wanted to respond a little bit to what Councilmember Ayala asked. If the letter doesn't work, et cetera, historically, Mayor Thomas wrote a letter years ago, and I myself wrote a letter outlining to Rexford, et cetera, outlining our desires. And at the time, it did not move the needle. So it may well not move the needle. But I do think, and possibly in person or a letter from the entire council will make a difference. I think there should be a reminder of where this property has come from. Actually, Enzo Verde has done a beautiful job of fencing it and cleaning it up, et cetera, but it's a property that used to be very much frequented by homeless and vagrancy and drug usage and paintball and a variety of things that, even as I have spoken with Rexford's, with businesses or people who now at Prologis specifically, who used to work there, it was such that people wouldn't want to go at lunchtime because they were fearful. So it has come from a place where this would be a good neighbor, but maybe because we're talking industrial versus something else. There's a variety of speculative things, but I think it should be pointed out that for Rexford and Prologis, really it is going through drive aisles that are already there. And so I think that maybe a letter or the conversation going in person could actually move the needle. So anyway, I'm hopeful.
Councilmember Ayala.
Thanks. I just think that if we're going to do a letter, because originally I was this was kind of tough for me, because I don't think we should be, tell people, right, what they're going to do and not do. So I think, and usually when we get something like this, we get a copy of what the letter might say if we were to send something. So I think that if we do the letter, it just has to be very clear that it is not you have to do this because something will happen, but it's more of we're trying to be a good neighbor and we hope that you would help us out with this kind of piece, right? Because as Councilmember Litster mentioned, there's already been a couple of letters written from the previous mayor, from herself, and there's been no action made. So I just don't want there to be any expectations that something might be different this time around.
So Councilman, my apologies for not including a draft of the letter. We too shared those concerns, and we actually had a conversation with the project team about managing those expectations, knowing the history. They're very well aware of that. And the intent would be for that letter to be, again, just we support the project, we encourage you working with them, but by no means, obviously, we don't have any authority to require that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say. It would be more a letter in support of, without any arm twisting. So, right, city councilman or city manager, yes. All right. I also think it's a great thing. I am more than willing to have a unanimous vote. We'll vote on a second on that. If there's anyone in particular that wanted to be a part of it, I thought Mayor Pro Tem's idea was great. Sometimes just a face-to-face really helps. If you think that would be helpful,
Absolutely.
okay. That might be something we could do. Is there anyone in particular that wants to be a part of it?
I know it's my district, but I'm free if anyone wants to take over the city council member. I would suggest Lee Kennedy on the planning.
Okay. Got it. Elaine, is this something you want to do? Otherwise, I'll do it.
Either way, I'm happy to do it, or if you'd like to, either way.
It sounds like you're already
either way.
kind of
Either way.
in the middle of it. So if you want to do it and take Lee Kennedy,
Does anyone have a personal relationship with any of these property owners? Because that would be.
I don't. She just was.
That would make a difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anyone know anyone with Rexburg or Prologis or even Brandeis?
No. We used to know people at AJU, but it's been years. So.
Why don't we maybe make the motion to form a committee, and then we can discuss who that is.
Can we just make a committee? Okay. You can. Okay. That needs. Okay. All right. Would you like to make a motion, Councilmember Litster, having yourself and Lee Kennedy, and then staff, Mr. Garibay, or whoever else?
And are you going to make a dual motion to first do the first number one alternative and then also to have that?
Yes.
So I will move item 1 to authorize the mayor to sign a letter of support expressing the city of Simi Valley's support for the issuance of a private easement to allow the development of the Enzo Verde residential care facility, and then further to move that a select committee be established to visit in person the parties in question to discuss the importance to the city, consisting of Planning Commissioner Lee Kennedy and myself, or the mayor and member staff such as Luis Garibay.
Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's my card from previously.
Okay, we're going to move on with item 10A, council member reports. So Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you. On Tuesday, the 10th, I attended the council retreat. On Wednesday, the 11th, I attended the Apollo High School graduation. On Thursday, the 12th, I attended the ranch's 10-year anniversary event. On Friday, the 13th, special day, I guess, chamber breakfast in the morning. We then had the press conference for the arrest of the, what do we call them? Burglars of the jewelry store in Dr. Conkey's, and also attended the Caneo Simi Moore Park Annual Mayor's Roundtable. On Monday, the 16th, I volunteered at the Ed Foundation's golf event. On Tuesday, the 17th, I attended the Rotary Club of Simi Sunset's grant allocation meeting, both as a representative of the city and also my daughter's Girl Scout troop got one of the grants as well. And she spoke there on the stage, was one of the girls accepting the award. And then on Saturday, the 21st, I attended the Knights of Columbus Chili Cook-Off, where I did sample the chili made by our very own Mayor Pro Tem Judge. Very hearty, had a little bit of a kick to it as well. And now I'm here today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Tuesday, June 10th, I also attended the council retreat. A special thank you to to City Manager Arbright and staff that put that together. Super organized and really helped us set some direction. And I appreciated the time and effort spent by all. Wednesday, June 11th, I attended a Cal Cities Ledge update call on Zoom. On Thursday, June 12th, I attended a virtual League of California Cities Policy Committee, which was my committee that I'm sitting on is Revenue and Taxation. Or later that day, I attended the Ranch Open House, but then had to leave before the actual ribbon cutting to get to the California Cities Leadership Institute training that was also a virtual call. On Friday, June 13th, I attended the press conference. Congratulations to our PD and other partners for such great and outstanding work. It's fun to let Simi Valley shine in the positive, and we really appreciate the hard work of all. And then went out and shot at Clays for Canines, which almost beat Mayor Pro Tem Judge, but not quite.
If we add it together, we beat
We
him.
added together, we beat him.
Yeah.
On Monday, June 16th, I had the fun and pleasure of playing in the Simi Valley Ed Foundation golf tournament. We did not win, but I think we were number one in fun. Wednesday, June 18th, I had a meeting with the team here at the city, led by Stratis, trying to get my head around RENA and our housing element, and I appreciated the three that attended that meeting for the in-depth start of my journey on understanding RENA. Oh, and Wednesday, June 18th, I also attended the employee luncheon, which my attending the luncheon means I stand with my back to the food truck and shake hands with people as they come through. It's like swimming upstream, and it was really fun to meet everybody and do the, what do you do? No, what is that? Really, I don't know what you do in the city. People were very gracious, and it was fun to meet so many. Contrary to what we heard earlier tonight, we do value our employees, and that particular lunch is, yes, it's a way of showing it. It's a small token of gesture, but it is absolutely a denotation of appreciation, and you are valued here. This is a great community to be working in. On Thursday, June 19th, I attended the SCAG Executive Administration Committee retreat, 2 days to set direction for SCAG. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Rhodes. Councilmember Litster.
Thank you. Beginning, of course, with June 10th, where all of us were there in attendance. Thank you to our department heads who gave us a good overview, much appreciated, of the projects you're championing and working on, and it's always good to understand more in depth what is transpiring. And yes, thank you for the opportunity to do some planning together and prioritizing and I appreciate it because I was able to tell people the next day that water issues were in our top 10 priorities, and so that was, it helped that I knew I had validation for them. So, and I wanted to say thank you for allowing me to fly to Sacramento the next day to represent our city and be with Callegas, as there was this day of pressing. They had 5 teams. I was part of the Callegas Las Virgenes team and Department of Water Works. Anyway, they were all converging on Sacramento to try to lobby for passage of the trailer bill that Governor Newsom has put forward. Learned a lot, ended up meeting, and it was fun to be part of it. I ended up being in 9 different assembly members' or senators' offices and having conversations with a lot of people. I came to really, I knew how important it was before, but even more understand the importance of the Delta Conveyance Project. I will say that we get 100% of our water through the State Water Project right now, and it is estimated within the next 10 years that the flow will diminish by 25%. If this project gets built, it would be critical to stabilizing our water structure. Otherwise, some of that drought experience we went through will become commonplace. And this is the cheapest water source. Yes, we need to be doing desal and we need to be doing clear water projects. All these other things are critical as well. But in terms of the cost for the water, this is the most affordable option. Just to put it in perspective too, basically we were lobbying, this was, Newsom has put, this was a trailer bill, although it doesn't affect the budget at all because if this were to pass, basically what it does, it streamlines the bonding authority. It basically provides some safety against legal redundancy. It basically provides an ability to not have to acquire land maybe more closely at fair market value. I mean, there's a variety of things that this trailer bill does, but I will say it's very political in Sacramento, of course, and this was the governor asking for it, and they want a bargaining chip, so it was not part of the bill that, or the budget that passed a week or so ago, but it is definitely still out there and will be part of the discussion. What I also learned is that if you live in the Delta or represent the Delta, this is your #1 issue you don't want, because it's just, you grew up knowing that. If you are in Southern California or the Bay Area and all the places that are desperate for this water, it's important, but people don't necessarily understand just how critical it is. And so there is a need for us to be more vocal about how this is important for a variety of reasons, including environmentally, but I can talk more. But anyway, I do have information that I'll disseminate and distribute. But so thank you again for allowing me to go up and lobby with Calleguas. On Thursday, I too attended the ranch open house and ribbon cutting. It was exciting. Hard to believe they've been here 10 years. That's what we were celebrating. On Friday, yes, it was good to stand there at the press conference behind our DA and chief, and who were able to speak to how quickly and efficiently and effectively they were able to apprehend, which is really phenomenal. So thank you. I also attended a League of Cities Environmental Committee meeting online, and then attended the Conejo-Simi Moore Park Association of Realtors annual Mayor's Roundtable and had the privilege of stepping in for our mayor or mayor pro tem. I told them that you were doing more important things, raising funds for our first responders, for our police, and so I want you to know I covered for you, and the questions were pretty specific. It wasn't just how are things in the city. They wanted to know what our arena numbers were and how close we were to getting them done. They want to know about fire safety hardening and what we're doing for water. So it was good that I could speak to what we were doing. So anyway, thank you for letting me step in for you on Friday. On Saturday, it was Flag Day, and it was good to join Mayor Pro Tem Judge at the Simi Town Center, where Christy Grayson, commander of Simi Valley's American Legion Post 44, was a lovely flag presentation, new flags there in the center court. Sunday, Father's Day, I'd like to commend the 4 men sitting on this dais, all of which are fathers. Hope you had a lovely day celebrating your day. Monday, Simi Valley Ed Foundation. I know that Councilmember Ayala and I were working on the backside while Councilmember Rhodes was playing on the other side. So I'm glad that he was there supporting. On Tuesday, June 17th, I attended the Water Issues Committee meeting for our AWA and learned a lot about saltwater intrusion in the Oxnard Plains and what it means for us, et cetera. Also attended the Simi Sunset Rodeo Awards. Congratulations to your Girl Scout troop and the 18 other groups that received funds. They did much to raise funds and to support our community. Wednesday, June 18th, I too enjoyed the employee summer luncheon. Councilmember Rhodes was at the top. I was working my way down to the end, and it was lots of fun visiting with our employees. We really have some outstanding employees. And that evening, I attended the Moore Parks City Council meeting, where they were honoring Troy Brown, city manager who was retiring after after maybe more years there. He's only the second city manager that Moore Park has had. Just an outstanding man, and I appreciate Heather Sumagaisai, that she and I went together and even shared a seat because it was so crowded that it was standing room only. But anyway, I spoke for us, and we appreciate Moore Park and all his efforts. On Thursday, June 19th, I attended VCOG's Administrative Committee meeting, which is really planning for meetings to come. In July, there's a meeting on the 10th, which I'm not able to attend, and I appreciate that Mayor Pro Tem Judge has agreed that he will be there attending VCOG's next meeting, July 10th, 3 o'clock. What's lovely is it's going to be held in Camarillo's council chambers, just newly remodeled. So first time back there after several years, a couple of years. So it'll be, anyway, that's where it's being held, and appreciate their efforts. And I think there's going to be conversation about how we are to respond. And actually, probably Mike could teach what they're going to be talking about. But there's going to be some conversations about proper ways to respond in emergencies, et cetera. Anyway, that concludes my report. Thank you, everyone.
Mayor Pro Tem Judge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Tuesday, June 10th, I attended the council retreat along with everybody here, and I thought it was well done. It was very efficient, and it was very professional. I think we have a good list of priorities coming out for everybody to see pretty soon, right? We haven't put them out yet? Yep. There we go. Coming out pretty soon. On Thursday, June 12th, I attended the grand opening of the ranch, 10 years in town. Love them, love country music. They do a great job. They're always at our events. They always support our local businesses, and I think they're doing it outstanding. They're an outstanding addition to our community. On Friday, June 13th, I did attend the press conference, and I want to say congratulations to our police department because that was an awesome bit of police work there. Working with outside agencies, they were able to apprehend these people and get some of the merchandise recovered. Great job. And I also want to congratulate our citizens for their due diligence and keeping their track of their videos and everything else. Great job. Later that afternoon, that morning, I attended the Simi Valley Police Foundation's Clays for Canines trap shoot, and I'm happy to report that the Elks team that I was on came in first. So that was a great job. Wait a second, I'm not done. On Saturday, June 14th, I did attend the Flag Day ceremonies at both the Elks Lodge and the Town Center. Great job, very patriotic, always loved Flag Day. Bigger than Flag Day, though, in my opinion, it was the Army's 250th birthday, and yes, I did celebrate. Being a former paratrooper, sometimes that gets a little carried away. On Sunday, June 15th, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I did have a great time. My kids got me a nice gift. I was very happy. On June 17th, I attended the Rotary allocations meeting for the RAD, Rotary After Dark. And they did give away a lot of money, and it was very impressive. And I just love the work all of our Rotary clubs do in our city to help our nonprofits and people that need a hand. I can't say enough about them. They're just great people, and they do a great job in our city. And I was really excited by one of the comments during public comments about having them all work together to do the 250th 4th of July celebration. That's something that I will try to get involved in and work on. On Wednesday, June 18th, I did attend the employees' summer luncheon here at the city with the Habit truck, and I talked to some employees, stood around mostly because it didn't seem like everybody really wanted to talk to me. So it was good to be here. I'm here. I'll listen to anything you want to talk to me about. I want to say happy birthday to my brother-in-law, Atar, and Duran. Their birthdays were respectively June 18th and June 19th. I also want to say happy Juneteenth to everybody that was out there celebrating. I enjoyed the fact that everybody was off because I had to take the 405 freeway that day, and it was a nice trip. I can say that. Friday, June 20th, I also was still at the SCAG retreat. We were setting the goals for our SCAG year next year, and everything looks pretty good. Just be prepared that we're going to be getting ready for those Olympics coming up in 28, so that's going to take up a lot of their bandwidth for the time being. Saturday, June 21st, I did attend the St. Rose Chili Cook-Off as a contested cook in chili. I think we came in like 8th. If you're not first, you're last. So that's just the way it goes. I thought my chili was pretty good, but of course I'm biased. And on Sunday, June 22nd, I just want to say happy birthday to my nephew, Matthew. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, wait, I did have one other thing I wanted to talk to. Sorry, it was underneath. I just want to let everybody know that starting today, VCTC now, on their intercity buses, which are those big blue buses that come through town every once in a while, that'll take you all the way to, I believe, Ventura, if you want to go, or Santa Barbara, if you want to go to Santa Barbara, now accepts pay on the bus. So if you have a credit card or a debit card with your chip in it, you can pay right there on the bus. You don't have to get tickets. You don't have to get passes. You just flash your thing like you're buying a Coke. Get on the bus, flash your card, and go off. That's all it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Judge. Okay, on June 10th, of course, I also attended the retreat. It was a great event. Thank you, City Manager Argabright. We got a lot of things accomplished, a lot of discussion, and again, thank you to all our department heads on their presentations and being there with us, whether you had to or not. On June 11th, I had a lunch meeting with the owners of Lost Canyons, as well as a developer that is possibly going to be working there. And then that evening, I met with the SEIU 721 for an hour so that they could discuss what their concerns were. It was very nice getting to know some of them too. On Friday, June 13th, I also attended the press conference. I was saying all of us were there, but only Mike showed up on one TV and then Supervisor Parvin on the other. But Mike, you were holding Dr. Conkey's cup, which she asked you to do. So that was perfect. So it was good advertisement. Congrats to our police department. That was one of the best calls I've gotten. Usually they're not good calls when the chief calls after hours, but that one was a really good one. So we're very proud of our department, everyone that helped on that, as well as the citizens that really helped out. I then went on to the Simi Valley Police Foundation Clays for Canines Trap. Again, Mike is very good, but I got my second best ever. I won't say what it was, but I was proud of myself. It's a good event. It helps raise money for our police foundation. So on Saturday, June 14th, I also did the Flag Day at the Elks Lodge. They do a great program. It was very well attended and done very nicely. That afternoon, I had the pleasure of attending a promotion party for my son-in-law. He's now a captain in the Santa Barbara County Fire. So that was a big deal. So it was really a good thing. We had a good turnout. Sunday, June 15th is Father's Day. This is a good one. I got to spend the morning with Councilmember Rhodes because our exchange daughter was leaving. So he made us breakfast, all three of us. I'm like, it's Father's Day and you're cooking for us. So, but that was very nice. And they were good omelets too. So thank you. So we enjoyed that. On Thursday, June 19th, I spoke with the auditors that are doing our annual audit with Rhoda Dalaga, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. And had a nice talk with her. And that is the end of my report. So next item is 10B. Are there any future agenda items? I heard a yes.
Can we get a report on how to get citizens, in regards to the landscape district? Can we either have a report back to us on an action plan or present staff or get a report from staff on how to go about addressing or meeting the affected public to start raising rates?
Maybe like look at the different districts and decide which one you want to start with?
Exactly.
Well, and to include with that possibly, I know that Attorney Ford and I were just discussing sidebar. He's going to actually contact Sacramento just to make sure there's not a way that there can be a cost of living adjustment or something in that. Is that accurate? So maybe that could also be part of the conversation.
Right, but I don't know if that needs to be an agenda item or a report back, but I would like to make sure that we have it memorialized. We do something.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can, even though you guys didn't say it, since you mentioned it earlier, it was definitely on my list. So it's memorialized, it's on the list.
All right, good.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anything else? All right, thank you. We will be adjourning this evening in memory of LAPD Sergeant Shihu Deng, who was struck and killed helping a Samaritan on the freeway. So with that, we will adjourn. Thank you. Helping us.